Hello and welcome to another Zach Carnage Battle Report. So this time we're finally doing the 6th edition Battle Report. This is part of a two-part video, so if you want to check out the other video on my channel, just click on the various links and you can see a full list of the armies on another link. So what we're doing is we're playing the Relic, which is represented by that objective in the middle there. And we've had the Vanguard deployment, Vanguard Strike deployment, which is quite interesting to set up, although a bit unusual. We've used the terrain density rules provided in the rulebook, and then added a couple of extra bits just to fill out the board a bit more, like this fence, which we're using as tangle wire, I believe. So we've got all sorts of different things on here. We've got actually a representation of the map up there with all the different rules. We've got some things like ammo crates by the objective. Some fuel reserves over there, all sorts of different things that are going to have interesting new rules. Just so you know, all of these green patches represent forests. We don't have any trees yet, and they're all mysterious obviously, so this can be quite interesting. If you want to check out any of the army lists, as I said before, just go and click the link below and then come back to this video to watch the rest of the battle report. So the first turn is going to the Necrons, and we'll give a quick discussion about deployment. Because it's pre-measuring, the Necrons went first. The Tau then decided that they're going to stick just outside of 30 inches range. That means that they can't be shot at by any of the Immortals over there. But it also means that they are actually in range because they can move 6 inches and shoot now. So, quite good for them. Obviously we've got Battlessuits defending on the side where the Praetorians are coming over. And we've got some more heavy fire and then some Vespers who are just going to flank and be annoying. So we'll see what happens in turn 1. Okay, at the end of Necron turn 1, basically everything's just moved up, apart from the Stalker, which moved back, so it would get it'll be hidden from the railgun over there, even though it's night fighting, because we have got night fighting for the first turn. So all of them moved up. The race chose to use their jump packs during the movement, because they're not assaulting. Here the Immortals with their cryptic Veil of Darkness over and tried to rapid fire shots at the Hammerhead, which is now down to 2 hull points, so didn't do too great with the Gauss weaponry there. And over here the Praetorians just moved up. They're not trying to take cover because these are Death Rain suits, so they're AP4 anyway, so it's not going to make any difference. And we'll see what happens in the Tau first turn. Right, so let's take a look at what happened. As you can see, all the Fire Warriors moved back. The Hammerhead turned around. Those guys have shot their missile pods at the Praetorians. They killed one who got back up, and they thrusted back. These Fire Warriors rapid fired on the Immortals here, killing one of them. The Vespids moved over, killed 4 of them with their neutron blasters, and then they move with their wings, jump infantry, but because they're fleet they get to re-roll charge distance anyway, so they got rid of the Hammer of Wrath rule because they're not using them for assault. But they did assault, just like normal infantry, and killed a few of them after they had already shot, and so did the broadsides fired their smart missile systems at them. The Hammerhead fired a railgun shot which scattered and missed, and burst cannons killed some of them, and they've been reduced to 3 guys and a cryptek. And there was one point when the cryptek died, but he came back. So they're doing alright in combat. They're currently losing the combat, but they're holding in there. The reason why these guys didn't shoot at them is because we were on night fighting, so in some cases they can't see, and in other cases they're going to get cover. But we'll see how the Necrons do in turn 2 when they get to bring on the Doom Scythe. Okay, the Necrons have finished their turn 2. Very briefly, let's look at what happened. Flame 1's deep struck here, not quite within an inch of the Vespids, so they're alright there. But obviously they couldn't do anything. Very, very cool. The Doom Scythe came on, started killing stuff massively. Inflicted 3 wounds upon the 4 4 crisis suits in 2 separate squads because it drew a line along there. and so they're down to 2, they're 1 wound each. They're actually from separate units, and they've taken a couple of shots from the Immortals over there as well. So that's quite interesting what the Doomside is capable of doing. And what happened over here? Nothing happened over here because they're in combat and they inflicted, I think the Immortals inflicted 1 wound, which was saved, and that was it. The Wraiths moved up. They weren't really trying to assault, they're just trying to get close enough so that they can assault the next turn and kill some stuff. And they weren't quite in assault range. And that's pretty much all that happened. So we'll see what happens in the Tau turn 2. Okay, so we've reached the end of Tau turn 2 and having a bit of trouble. These Wraiths keep moving forward and basically everything is shot at them. The Hammerhead, both of the Hammerheads and the Broadsides, and also all of these Fire Warriors shot at them, and only 2 have gone down and 1 more has taken a wound. Actually these Crisis Suits shot at them as well. The Kroot came on from this side, and they shot the Flayed Ones and killed 2 of them. The combat ended here. The Immortals finally won, and the 2 remaining Vespers are falling back all the way over there. And one of the Devilfish has come on with 6 warriors in, moved flat out so it can get to that point, and it's probably going to unload its Fire Warriors in the next turn if it can. But we'll see what the Necrons do in their turn 3. Okay, we're in the middle of the Necron turn 3 and I just have to stop because this Crisis Suit here is on 1 wound and he's being completely thrashed by 4 Wraiths and 5 Praetorians. He survived all the Hammer of Wrath hits, which is awesome, and he survived about 20 more normal hits from the Wraiths. No, not 20, about 9 or 10 more hits from the Wraiths, but he just got wiped out by the Praetorians and their power weapons. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, so we've just finished the Necron turn 3. We'll take a look at what happened. Death Ray still being awesome. Let's see, it took out... The Doomside managed to take out all of the Honor Guard and the Ethereal. So that got 2 victory points for the Necron straight off, but that was First Blood and Slay the Warlord. And then that hit the Hammerhead as well, immobilizing it and taking out a hull point, and it killed the last one of the last Crisis Suits. Obviously, these guys you just saw took on the last one and thrashed it. Over here, Flayed Ones assaulted the Kroot. The Overwatch killed a bunch of the Flayed Ones, but then they just destroyed it in the close combat, so there's 1 normal Kroot left, shape from 4 hounds. Over here, the Immortals moved up, and we've removed the objective from the table because the Relic is currently being held by this Immortal here. That one. So keep your eye on him. The Trarch Stalker fired his Heat Ray at this Devilfish, did nothing to it, didn't even glance. But the Immortals that were over here, they haven't been wiped off. They jumped out the way because they didn't want to lose the first kill point to the Tau. First victory point, sorry. And they teleported bang on over here, and then fired rapid fire shots at the Devilfish, and they got a glance on there, so it's down to 2 hull points. But we'll see what happens in the next turn, because at the moment this Doomside is being amazing because nothing can shoot at it and actually hit, because they only need snapshots to hit it. But obviously it's having a bit of trouble moving around. So we'll see what happens in the Tau turn 3. Okay, some interesting stuff has been happening with the Relic. Basically, a lot of stuff has been shooting at the Immortals over there. So, all of these guys over here, including the Hammerhead, fired shots. So did this Hammerhead, even though it's immobilized, but, you know, it can still fire off a shot. So, lots of blast markers hitting these Immortals. And what happened was this Hammerhead over here fired a shot, and because of the new rules, the closest one takes the wound. So the closest one, 3 got wounded and fell apart. and one of them happened to be the one holding the relic, so the relic fell back onto the table and is no longer held. Now, it can only be picked up again by them moving into base contact with it and picking it up in a movement phase. So they can't pick it up this turn until the next turn, and then they can't move. So they're not going to be able to move with the relic until turn 5, which will be quite late in the game. Also what's happened, Devilfish has come on, fired off some shots at them. This Devilfish dropped off some warriors that fired loads of shots at them. So a lot of immortals dying here. The immortals over there got completely wiped out by when the blast mark scattered, it managed to hit a couple of them, and those Vespers regrouped and managed to move over and kill a couple of them as well. So if you really look at the board, Necrons are dominating in terms of what's on the board, but Tau seems to be doing pretty good at holding that relic in position. So we'll see what the Necrons managed to do in their turn 4. Very quickly, I forgot to mention that this combat has gone on, obviously. Just got the Shaper with 1 wound, 2 hounds left for the Kroot, and Flay 1 set of 3 guys. Okay, that's the end of the Necron turn 4. So they've just picked up the objective over there. See, the Praetorians and the Wraiths moved up. The Trarch Stalker moved towards this Devilfish, then used the Heat Ray in Dispersed to kill 5 of the Fire Warriors over there. The last one got killed by masses of shots from all of these Immortals. Praetorians actually fired 2 shots at them, which did nothing because they couldn't wound, which is quite amusing. And the only other thing for Necrons over here, the Doomside doing what it does best, fired a Death Ray all along here. It took out the Hammerhead, which then exploded, and that destroyed destroyed one of the shield drones. The other shield drone and the other broadside battlesuit got killed from Death Ray, and all of the Tesla shots actually missed. So looking like a very useful model for the Necrons, especially against armies that don't have any anti-air. But so far it looks like the Necrons are winning then, with 2 victory points so far, although this objective is still being held pretty much in the middle because they can't move with it yet. But we'll see what the Tau do in their turn 4. Okay, so we finished the Tau turn 4. We'll take a quick look at what happened. Broadside moved up, fired off some smart missiles at the guys in the middle, and took out some of them. Hammerhead railgun submission shot killed a bunch more, and then so did the burst cannon from that Devilfish and these Fire Warriors. So down to just the Overlord, who actually died and came back. So he's on 1 wound now, and obviously those Vespers did some killing as well. Apart from that, the Tau didn't really do anything because they're just focusing on getting that objective now, and it's not being held by anyone because all of the Immortals are dead. But we'll see what happens in the Necron turn 5. Okay, so at the end of Necron turn 5, we'll take a quick look at what happens. Doomside, my favourite model at the moment, moved over here. Finished off the Kroot and managed to wreck the Hammerhead with its Death Ray. Didn't even get around to using the Tesla Destructor, it didn't need to. You see over here, the Praetorians moved up, shot at all of the... well, it's complicated. Okay, we'll start from the beginning. First, the Trarch Stalker fired its focused heat ray at the Devilfish, which blew up, which killed a couple of Fire Warriors. We then said, because it's next to a fuel reserve, which we never got around to using otherwise, we said that got blown up, so every model within D6 inches, which turned out to be 3, had to take a dangerous terrain test. That killed some more Fire Warriors, and killed one of the Praetorians, who got back up and was fine. So they've just moved over there, and they finished off the Kroot with their Hammer of Wrath. And that's where the Wraiths joined in. But so far, we've got to a point at which the Tau have no scoring units, so can't actually hope to win. but we're just going to play the rest of it anyway. The Necrons do have scoring units, because if you look over here, we wrote the Warlord traits we got earlier, forgot to mention. Tau have Strategic Genius, although the Ethereum's dead now, and the Necrons have Immovable Object, which means that the Necron Overlord is still a scoring unit. So they're going to win, pretty much. But we'll see what the Tau do in what's probably their final turn. Okay, we finished the Tau turn 5 and we're ending the game here. So all that really happened, this broadside decided to take revenge on the evil Necrons for killing his Devilfish and all of the rest of his army by blowing up this Trarch Stalker. Obviously nothing in range to get hurt. And the only other thing that happened was that the Devilfish moved over to, because the gun drones count as, what are they called? Denial units. So they get the line breaker for that. So at the end of the game, because this Warlord has a movable object, the Necrons win with 5 victory points, which were First Blood for killing the Ethereal and stuff, Slay the Warlord, same thing, and the Tau get line breaker, but the Necrons have the objective. So interesting to see all the new rules, especially liking Hammer of Wrath and all this terrain stuff, and obviously the focus on storyline. So just leave all of your opinions and ideas below in a comment. Don't forget to check out the original part of this video, check out my channel, the armies involved, and stay tuned for future videos.